The upcoming 2019 NBA Draft is top-loaded with major talent including RJ Barrett, Moran, and Zion Williamson. And with the new NBA Draft Lottery rules being implemented, the NBA Draft could have as much drama since the frozen envelope in 1985. So today, a mere 43 days until the draft, I'll be going over who I think will be the top 10 picks in this year's draft based on current projections and my own analysis. And with the new rules for the draft lottery, I decided to randomize who would get the top 3 picks. So, without further ado, the first pick in the NBA draft, the Cleveland Cavaliers select Zion Williamson from Duke. Zion is no doubt the number 1 overall pick in this year's draft. His ability to bring people to the stands will undoubtedly be a big attractor for any team that would be able to draft him. Zion's athleticism is clearly unlike any athlete in modern history. And even though he isn't taller than most players at 6'7", his massive 285-pound frame, along with his ungodly 45-inch vertical, which was a Duke record by the way, immediately puts him in the group of players like Giannis, LeBron, and Joel Embiid as the most physically unstoppable players. Zion clearly is known for his jumping ability. He's able to finish any lob within a couple feet of the basket, and his hop step into the lane has been known to be unblockable. Zion's ability to contest and block shots, along with his great hands, make him an impact defender on day one. But his closeouts to jump shooters have been spotty, and his overall effort, excluding when he can pin a shot against the backboard, has been questionable at times. On the offensive end, he's clearly an inside-out player. He makes his living in the paint and in transition, but his shooting is subpar at best. But the key is that Zion's shot form is decent. It's not completely broken. And with the summer to focus on, Zion could become a very efficient shooter from outside the paint. But where clearly he shines is in transition. His ability to handle the ball like a guard, along with his bruising physicality and soft touch around the rim, make him a perfect fit for the NBA's fast-paced, transition-oriented game. Zion's closest comparison, in my opinion, would be a mix of the athleticism of Shawn Kemp and the actual ball skills of Charles Barkley. And at the end of the day, when Zion is blocking shots like he did against Virginia and finishing around the rim with dunks that he's shown throughout the season, whoever has the number 1 pick, regardless of the fit, will be taking Zion Williamson. With the second overall pick in the 2019 NBA Draft, the New York Knicks select RJ Barrett from Duke. Just like the Cavaliers, the Knicks are literally in need of pretty much every position, so they would most likely take the best player after Zion, his Duke teammate RJ Barrett. Barrett's the ideal guard for today's NBA, a 6'6", 200-pound scoring machine that can play both ways and still be able to be a prolific scorer from all around the court. Barrett's vision is underrated to me. Maybe it was playing with such special players as Cam Reddish and Zion, but Barrett's ability to find the open man is pretty decent. Barrett's a reliable, effective scorer, and while he only shot 45% from the field during his only year at Duke, going against better competition at the next level would require him to get over his shooting lows. His three-point shooting is somewhat spotty for a ball-dominant guard at just about 30%, and his free throw shooting is going to be significant improvement, only at 66% from his year at Duke. But where RJ excels in is transition basketball, especially attacking the basket. He shows great ability to hang in the air and finish in traffic around the rim, able to use his length and athleticism to go right over the top of bigger defenders. RJ also shows some flashes of Chris Paul and Klay Thompson with his retro post-up game. Versus great zone teams like Syracuse, Barrett showed great shot-making ability in the post and could help make up for his subpar shooting from the outside. RJ's length and height make him a solid defender. He shows a good motor on defense, especially his defensive skills being overshadowed by Zion at Duke, you wouldn't realize how good a defender he actually is. My comparison for RJ would possibly be a combo of the offensive game of Andrew Wiggins and DeMar DeRozan, and honestly could end up being the best overall player in this year's draft. With the third pick in the 2019 NBA Draft, the Phoenix Suns select Ja Morant from Murray State. The Suns may be partying with the Knicks as the most pathetic franchise in the NBA, but if Phoenix pairs Ja Morant with their young core, the Suns could be on the rise. Ja Morant was a number 2 pick in earlier mock drafts when people didn't even know his name, but Morant has established himself as one of the most NBA-ready players in this year's draft. Morant is extremely explosive, and the comparisons that have been made between Morant and Russell Westbrook are apt. While Morant doesn't share the same emotional turbulence like Westbrook, Morant is sneaky, athletic, and bouncy. He's an all-around offensive juggernaut. He's a competent three-point shooter, which is a necessary part of the new era NBA guard, and shot 36% during his sophomore season at Murray State. One part of Morant's game that nobody talks about, however, was his improvement from his first season to his second season at Murray State. He not only doubled his scoring and assist numbers, but also became more efficient with more shots, which shows that he's able to develop quickly. Morant had plenty of use of the pick and roll during college, and it showed in the NCAA tournament, as Morant's superb passing and pull-up shooting were on full display. Morant's defense is a bit of a question mark to me. The highlights showing his steals and chase down blocks are fantastic, but I can also see how the defense of Ja Morant is similar of that to his comparison Russell Westbrook, on how he may be more focused on the highlight play than being a quality, consistent perimeter defender. Morant is clearly a dynamite offensive star, and I could see the Suns getting a great resurgence if Moran is able to be paired with Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton effectively, and he could fill a void at point guard that the Suns have had since the days of Steve Nash. With the fourth pick in the 2019 NBA Draft, the Chicago Bulls select Coby White from North Carolina. The fourth pick is where things start getting prickly in terms of the best talent versus the best fit. For Chicago, though, another guard alongside Chris Dunn and Zach LaVine would be a great fit. Coby White is a pure scorer and great at it. White's a pure scoring guard, but his potential to become a different version of James Harden is there. He had a good NCAA tournament on a stacked UNC team, which only boosted his draft stock. Coby White is the prototype guard for the NBA. He's 6'5", a bit thin at 185 pounds, but his craftiness with the ball makes him very hard to guard. His ability to shoot is amazing. He can shoot off any action, off the dribble, catch and shoot, and White is a fantastic shooter in tense situations. His ability to run the floor coast to coast makes him a hassle to guard, but where White lacks is in his defense. He does seem to be a bit lackadaisical when guarding the ball, but his most underrated ability is by far his facilitating. He's able to shoot the ball from anywhere, so he is able to find so many easy baskets for his teammates. I see Coby White as another form of Jamal Murray mixed with the speed and athleticism of De'Aaron Fox, and could provide key scoring for a somewhat offensively lacking team like the Bulls. With the fifth pick in the NBA Draft, the Atlanta Hawks select DeAndre Hunter from Virginia. DeAndre Hunter is right behind Zion for being the second best two-way player in this draft. Hunter is known for his defense, being one of the best all-around perimeter defenders in the country last year. His solid frame at 6'7", 225 pounds, with a freakish 7'2" wingspan, makes him almost Kawhi-like on the defensive end, with his long arms and big hands. Hunter is one of the best all-around players in this draft. His shooting numbers significantly improved from his initial year at Virginia, shooting 52% from the field and amazingly 44% from the three-point line. He's not a volume shooter, which means he's going to be very efficient when he does shoot. DeAndre Hunter's finishing ability is also one of the skills that has gone under the radar for the entire season, being overshadowed at Virginia by Kyle Guy and Ty Jerome. Hunter's able to finish through contact and make difficult shots near the rim, but does need to develop his ability to create his own shot, which can limit his production when he develops this part of his game. I see Hunter as a cross between the defensive parts of Marcus Morris and a better shooting Domantas Sabonis, but he could easily eclipse both. With the 6th pick in the 2019 NBA Draft, the Washington Wizards select Cam Reddish from Duke. The Wizards are looking for any glimpse of hope with John Wall's deterioration, a lack of young talent, and a star in turmoil with Bradley Beal. Cam Reddish's stock severely dropped from this past season at Duke, where his inconsistency and lack of production probably scares teams from taking him inside the top 5. Reddish's best strength is his three-point shooting, which will be his primary focus and usage in his rookie year. He did struggle from the field in general at Duke, shooting 36% from the field and 33% from three-point land. But Reddish's potential is one of the highest in this draft. He's 6'8", has a 7'1" wingspan, and has a great feel for handling the ball. Reddish has shown glimpses of being a solid all-around defender, averaging 1.5 steals per game, but has been known to be lacking some lower body strength, which has led to him being abused in the paint on defense. My top-end comparison for Cam Reddish would be Gordon Hayward, but I also see some Danny Granger in Reddish with his ability to handle the ball. Cam may be the biggest steal this entire draft at the 6th pick, but he also could be the biggest bust as well. With the 7th pick in the 2019 NBA Draft, the New Orleans Pelicans select Rui Hachimura from Gonzaga. Hachimura is a bit of a puzzling player to me, honestly. He's solid all around, but I'm not sure what he will be in the NBA. He's a very efficient shooter, 60% from the field, 40% from 3, but took very few shots per game compared to other players in this draft. Hachimura really displayed his skills on the defensive end, however, where his solid 6'8", 230-pound frame allowed him to guard multiple positions. Hachimura's motor is one of his best assets and one of the highest in the draft, and can really be a spark plug for his team and could become a leader for such a dysfunctional team like the Pelicans. My NBA comparison would be an earlier version of Miles Turner, with the ability to guard multiple positions, a solid post-up game, and decent long-range shooting. Hachimura could become an all-star caliber player. With the 8th pick in the 2019 NBA Draft, the Memphis Grizzlies select Jarrett Culver from Texas Tech. Jarrett Culver was one of the biggest players on the biggest stage in college basketball when Texas Tech faced DeAndre Hunter and Virginia in the championship game. But Culver choked. He shot 5 of 22 from the field, didn't make a single three-point shot from 6 attempts. This performance was a major factor that bumps him outside the initial ranking in the top 5. Culver is a bit of a mystery as a player. He's extremely athletic at 6'5", a wingspan of 6'11", and has shown himself to be a solid perimeter defender throughout the tournament. He's able to finish inside the paint, especially with contact. Overall, he's an all-around good offensive player, a solid playmaker, and a good shooter at times. But his main con is his streakiness. Culver's ups and downs throughout the tournament, shooting the ball specifically, had been questioning his confidence, which showed gaps throughout the tournament. Culver is also a questionable decision maker on both sides of the ball. He has been known to daydream on the defensive end, which can lead him to be a step behind on the defensive end. My NBA comparison would be a mix between Tyreke Evans and Evan Turner, so Culver will need to develop his overall game if he thinks he's worthy of a top 5 pick. With the 9th pick in the 2019 NBA Draft, the Atlanta Hawks from the Luka Doncic trade select Nasir Little from North Carolina. Nasir Little got overshadowed this year by Kobe White, Luke May, and Cameron Johnson, and actually came off the bench this entire year. Little is being drafted for his potential at the number 9 pick. He's a good offensive slasher, which could benefit playing alongside Trae Young. He's a fantastic athlete, an energetic rebounder, and has the potential to be a quality starter for the Hawks after a year or two of development. Little does have some issues with his decision making. He gambles too much on highlight plays, going after passing lanes for steals, and can be a bit erratic on both sides of the ball. My NBA comparison for Little would be the consensus comparison, Gerald Wallace. The similarities between Wallace's game and Little's game are pretty similar. They're both primary slashers and have the athletic ability to guard multiple positions on defense. If Nasir Little could take a Trae Young class on shooting and ball handling, Little could become the ideal backcourt teammate for Trae Young and the Atlanta Hawks. With the 10th pick in the 2019 NBA Draft, the Minnesota Timberwolves select Brandon Clarke from Gonzaga. Brandon Clarke is my dark horse pick for Rookie of the Year. This kid has no spotlight due to playing on a Gonzaga team filled with players like Rui Hachimura, Zach Norvell, and Killian Tilly, but could become a dominant player in his first year with the Timberwolves, and would be a steal at the number 10 pick. Clarke is a defensive monster. He's undersized at just about 6'9", 220 pounds, but the athleticism that Clarke has more than makes up for his lack of size. He averaged 3 blocks per game and a steal in his third year in college and his first year in Gonzaga, and is one of the best defensive players in this draft. Clarke is a major athlete, which helps him finish around the paint, in the post, and around the basket in traffic. He's a fantastic rebounder, a great off-the-ball player on offense, and is underrated in his mid-range game. The major con with Clarke, which keeps him outside of the top picks, is his outside shooting. In the NBA, he's going to have to develop a three-point shot, but with a couple years to develop, he could become one of the better players from this draft. My NBA comparison would be a classic Kenyon Martin, a dominant, athletically gifted defensive monster with an offensive game that has a lot of potential. Pairing Clarke with Karl Towns could bring back glimpses of some of the best big men pairings in the NBA. Thank you guys for watching this NBA mock draft. It's never too early for mock drafts. There's so much fun to do, and I'd love to get your input on my top 10 picks. Bring it all the comments on, and be sure to give me your reasoning behind your changes to my mock draft. If you're just going to say my mock draft's horrible and not give me any explanation, you're getting deleted. But if you give me some reasoning behind it, I'll be sure to have a great conversation with you guys in the comments section below. I'm hoping that you guys enjoyed this first video back. I am so happy to be making content again. Be sure to subscribe. I'm going to have a lot more NBA videos coming up soon. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.